The Senate's comprehensive immigration bill runs pretty perilously close to being an outright deceit and fraud. And as Bill Tucker now reports, the legislation will make fraud and identity theft a booming industry.
The Z-Visa would transform an illegal alien into a legal resident in 24 hours, allowing the holder to stay indefinitely. To get one, all an illegal alien has to do is prove that they've been working illegally in this country by submitting a pay stub or a bank receipt. A remittance receipt will do as well. Fingerprints must be submitted, and a non-relative must swear out an affidavit that the illegal alien was here before January 1st, 2007. Critics note that the requirements are very similar to what was acceptable in the 1986 amnesty.
I think the people who drafted the Senate immigration bill are complicit in malfeasance. They've gone back and looked at every loophole, every opportunity for fraud we've had in the last 30 years, and expanded it, made it more possible, increased the chances for fraud, misrepresentation. It is as if foreign terrorism and 9/11 never happened.
After the materials are submitted, the government has only 24 hours to run a background check. And if the individual applying for amnesty has been arrested outside and not inside the United States, their fingerprints won't be on record.
Whoever wrote this provision, giving the government only 1 day to figure out if a person is a criminal or a terrorist, has no clue how this information is actually maintained. You can't get that information in 24 hours. And if the federal government fails to get that information, all of us are put at risk by this bill.
And more good news for the illegal alien applying for amnesty. After the 24-hour period passes, those applying get valid Social Security numbers.
And the process even grants forgiveness for those who've been convicted of 2 misdemeanors. No medical exam is required in lieu. If the computer systems go down while they're doing that criminal background check, well, it doesn't matter because it's all good. The illegal alien gets a go anyway.
You know, wouldn't it be interesting to find out who authored these specific idiotic provisions of this legislation? I mean, the overall legislation, I think, as I made pretty clear, are idiot. You know, it's idiotic in its comprehensive nature, if you will. But some of these little elements are just bizarre. And certainly not in the interest of anyone in this country.
At one point, I accused a staffer of lying to me when she was running through some of these provisions in the bill, and she pointed the sections out where they are, in fact, written into the bill.
Unbelievable. I hope you were nice after that.
I was.
Okay. And when you said that, you were just kidding anyway, right?
Of course.
Yeah, right. Bill Tucker, thank you very much. Occasionally, candor in Washington actually coincides with accuracy. Some frank words, some choice words from House Minority Leader John Boehner. The congressman said the legislation, the immigration legislation currently working its way through our Congress is, quote, a piece of expletive deleted. You have the idea. If you look at some of the provisions in this proposed new law, it's not hard to see why the minority leader is thinking and speaking the way he does. Among the worst provisions, one we just reported on in Bill Tucker's report, illegal aliens will be given legal status just 1 day after their application is filed, even if the background check isn't completed, and it could not be in nearly every instance. Other absurd provisions in this legislation: taxpayers unite. You'll be paying for the immigration attorneys to represent illegal aliens. How's that for a deal? You gotta love America. Supporters of the legislation call the new Z visas temporary. What they don't want us to tell you is that the new visas can be renewed indefinitely. And gang members, illegal alien gang members, are eligible for amnesty. The Heritage Foundation estimating there are, by the way, at least 30,000 illegal alien gang members in 33 states. All they have to do is say they don't want to be a gang member anymore, and bingo. The federal government, with taxpayer money, your money, will be helping the Mexican government provide enough incentives, like a decent education and health care, for Mexican citizens to stay in their own country. And another provision of this legislation: illegal aliens don't have to pay those cumbersome, nasty taxes. This is, I think, what we would call a very very generous amnesty program. A lot of folks would like to get a hold of this opportunity. And the proposed new Security and Prosperity Partnership, the North American Union, which would effectively erase borders among the United States, Mexico, and Canada, would be given top priority, fast track for SPP. Border security, not first in this bill. We can't even find out what border security has to do with this legislation. It is all about amnesty. And the proposed 800-mile-plus fencing on our southern border could be slashed to just 200 miles. The Senate bill incorporating the so-called DREAM Act that gives in-state tuition to illegal aliens, a benefit, of course, denied American citizens. Illegal aliens will, under the terms of this legislation, also be able to cut in front of everyone who've been waiting for years in their own countries for admission to the United States legally. Suckers. And another outrageous provision, this bill highlighted in the Heritage Foundation released today, its own list of the worst provisions. Get ready, because among them, amnesty for illegal aliens who were ordered deported. That was unfortunate. Heritage says our immigration courts could be effectively shut down with this legislation, as judges must close any immigration proceeding and allow illegal aliens to apply for amnesty. Senator Jeff Sessions today also saying there are a number of other loopholes in this law. Among them, he points out, learning English not required until the 9th year of amnesty. Illegal aliens will be eligible for the earned income tax credit. Don't have to pay back taxes, but they will be eligible for the earned income tax credit. A tax credit, by the way, of course, designed to help this country's hard-working men and women, citizens all. And Senator Sessions will join me here later to tell us more about this legislation and his view of whether it should pass or not. A new study providing most Americans overwhelmingly disapprove of this grand compromise on illegal immigration. A Rasmussen report showing that its national telephone survey found only 26% of Americans support this amnesty legislation. 48% say they are opposed. 26% understandably say they aren't sure. And 72% of those polls say it's very important the government protect our borders and cut illegal immigration.